When a demonically possessed Foggy Nelson decides to sue his best friend Matt Murdock, will this be the beginning of the trial of the century? Well, let's hop into the pages of Daredevil issue number 16 and find out together, shall we? So then, picking up directly from where the last issue left off, poor Matt was served papers by his longtime friend and legal partner, Foggy Nelson. It seems that he's currently working on behalf of the pimp boyfriend that Father Matt had ran off a couple issues ago, obviously. Matt was in the right in that situation, but this isn't about right or wrong, this is about trying to hurt Daredevil by making him fight one of his oldest and dearest friends. It's because of that Matt decides to look up another of his friends in the form of She-Hulk, who is currently fighting it out with the, get this, Robots, a group of evil judges with a robot theme. Or is it robots with a judges thing? I mean, it could really honestly go either way, right? Obviously, She-Hulk is very sympathetic to Matt's plight right now. It wasn't too long ago that she was possessed by the sin of gluttony. Matt plans to pay Foggy a visit anyway, but he hopes that Jen can use her own legal know-how to try and make it so none of this actually goes to court, especially as Foggy's big plan seems to be to go after Matt by shuttering St. Nick's orphanage and hurting all the children there, something the man without fear can simply just not abide. Daredevil breaks into Nelson and Norse later that night, though breaking in is kind of charitable as there was no actual security put in place, almost like Foggy knew 100% certainly that Daredevil was gonna come for him. Matt hopes he can end this fight before it even starts by rushing right to the exorcism part, only here's the thing, the evil spirit of pride inside Foggy was ready for this too. Mainly the whole exorcism route isn't going to work this time, and that's because several issues ago Matt burned his vestments and turned away from his role as a priest in the church. Or, to put it in RPG terms, Matt re-specced into a vigilante and lost all of his cleric spells. Real shame when that happens. The demon rebukes Matt, and understandably Daredevil does not take it well at all. In fact, he says that while he had come to terms with the fact that maybe God doesn't hate him and is trying to ruin him a couple issues ago, he has to admit that God does have one hell of a sense of humor. After all, it was Matt who didn't go see his best friend after he was resurrected and got his memories back. And he didn't think anything of it when Foggy didn't want to see him before, meaning that there's a good chance he's been possessed for a while and he didn't even notice. But just to really put some icing on that cake, Matt ends up capping off several nights awake by saving a little girl from getting hit by a truck, much like in the same scenario that gave him his powers. Daredevil's also pretty damn paranoid too. If the sin of pride doesn't get him in the courtroom, then the mysterious sin of wrath might just end up getting the job done first. And then in the middle of all of this, you still have the missing kid case involving Jason, who ran away from St. Nick's and has yet to be found. Oh, but when it rains, it pours. As Daredevil is doing his trademark moping on top of a tall gothic building, he ends up catching a scent with his super smell, a very familiar scent belonging to none other than Bullseye. Daredevil tracks the scent down looking for a good fight, only when he gets there he finds not Bullseye, but Bullseye's severed arm, torn off as if by that beast of wrath, who's been encircling him for multiple issues now. Matt admits that Bullseye is probably one of the worst people he's ever known, but at the same time he doesn't want anyone, even a supervillain, hurt because of his sins. Matt tries to follow the trail of blood and the smell of death, only to end up getting ambushed by the sin of wrath again, who has taken the form of a spectral wolf. Matt has to admit that this sin and its tactics are very different than all the others he's dealt with. Those deadly sins all possessed his friends, even his enemies, to try and twist the knife in deeper. Wrath, though, isn't nearly as elegant. It just wants to hunt and fight and wear Matt down so it can eventually move on in for the kill. And well, there's a good reason for that too, you see. Wrath possessed someone that Matt didn't have a long history with at all. Not someone he loved, not someone he fought, but instead someone who he failed. And that would be because the sin of wrath was not simply just chasing after poor Jason. The sin of wrath actually is Jason, the missing boy. Meaning that all of these different cases, all of these different crimes, and all of these different sins are all coming home to roost on Daredevil as the comic comes to a close. And so that was Daredevil issue number 16, everybody, and once again, Saladin Ahmed, I think, does an absolutely amazing job turning in maybe one of the most underrated Marvel comics of the year. I really love how everything in this story up until now has come kind of built to this moment. Will Matt be able to defeat his friend Foggy in a court of law? Will he be able to save the orphanage and defeat his own personal sins? And how is he going to defeat the final two deadly sins now that he no longer has the power of exorcism on his side? I don't know, but I can tell you I'm certainly damn invested in all the personal drama of it all, and I can't wait to see how it shakes out. I also got to give special credit to the art team on this one. It's vastly improved from the last couple issues. The story was always hitting, and now it's nice to see that it has art to match. Again, I don't think this run has gotten as much praise as the Chip Zdarsky series, or maybe even as many eyes as that book did, judging just by the viewership on my own channel, but man, you gotta give Amit all the credit in the world for creating a Daredevil run that is able to stand right up there with some of the greats. Once again, the man without fear has one of the most undefeated creative runs in all of comic history. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one a very solid 8.5 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.